All right, so my personal wellness plan. So I've always been a fairly healthy and in shape, and due to the fact that I grew up playing sports, especially hockey. However, in the past year since I've arrived at college, I've started to really pay attention to my health and trying to get into better shape for the future. Um, and for the present, for I play hockey at Dort. In the beginning of my freshman year, I weighed 129 pounds, and that doesn't really help with your compete level. And from that point, I decided to get into lifting. I started to kind of made my own homemade weightlifting routine. And by the halfway point in the season, I weighed 145. And by the end of the season, I weighed 152 pounds. I gained a total of 23 pounds in my freshman season of hockey. And that progress helped to motivate me to keep lifting. I ended up making it kind of a habit in my life. It's a part of my life. I have a gym membership here in Omaha in the summers. And this year, my main goals are kind of just to get a little more organized with my health in all areas in life, to keep that stress down and to really streamline my gains as we move forward. So I've decided to make this personal wellness plan. Well, obviously for the class, but kind of for myself too, to be honest, to see if my results are getting any better. So starting with emotional wellness, I never really paid too much attention to emotional wellness. Growing up, I never really had any issues with my emotions. I wouldn't say I ever struggled from any depression or anxiety. And yeah, I grew up in a big town, so there's always suicide and stuff was I don't want to say common, but I mean it happened. And I mean it was sad when it happened, but it never really was such a big area that people aren't close to you, so it doesn't really hit you as hard, I guess. And it didn't really hit me. I don't want to say it didn't really hit me hard or open my eyes to it until actually at the beginning of the summer, my uncle took his life. And that kind of just opened my eyes to people do struggle with it and it's out there. And I kind of focus on myself and helping others with that too, but mainly for myself, I wouldn't say depression or anxiety, but more just stress. My family has issues with heart disease. It's in my family history, so stress obviously isn't good for that. So I kind of want to work on my stress. And moving on to spiritual health, I've grown up in a Christian household, so always gone to church, has some sort of spiritual connection. And but kind of really from 6th grade through senior year, it was always I went to a Christian summer camp called Rivercrest every summer. And it seemed like I would get there and have that mountaintop experience that you have when you go to a camp like that. And then I would try to keep that relationship going with Christ, but it kind of just whittled away within a few weeks of that camp. And I couldn't really figure out what I was missing until I kind of came to Dort and realized that what I was missing was I was trying to include God in every aspect of my life, but I was trying to force it. And you kind of have to I realized I need to take a step back and realize that God already is in every portion of my life. It's just taking a step back to realize that He's always with you, and just digesting that everything around me was created by Him, how I'm made in His image. I need to try and live in a way that glorifies Him. So that's something I kind of want to work on more in this year. I feel like my relationship with Christ has definitely gotten stronger since I've arrived at Dort, and since I've kind of stepped back and realized that piece that I was missing. And then for my physical wellness, my plan is pretty simple. I want to build muscle and try to stay in shape. Mainly in hockey to keep my compete level up, but also because taking care of your body is kind of a big deal. God made this body, and not taking care of it is kind of not, it's disrespectful, but it doesn't glorify Him anymore for the beautiful body that He gave each and every one of us. And the other big thing for me is I was addicted to vaping. I don't want to go back into that, or addicted to nicotine, I guess. And I tried quitting in many ways, just lowering the nicotine levels in the devices I had, and I mean that wasn't really working. So I ended up actually throwing them all away, everything related to vaping around me, and that urge to vape has kind of gone away. And I wouldn't say gone away, but died down to the point where it's not unbearable anymore. It's definitely going down still. I kind of want to keep my progress with that and not get back into it. And then for my social wellness is never really an area that I've struggled in, I wouldn't say, but that's not to say there's not anything I could work on. I've always kind of had a tight-knit group of friends and teammates to surround me when I needed help and to tell me if I'm going to do something stupid, keep me from doing it. I've always been kind of good at cutting out negative people or bad influences from my life. However, I think having such a tight knit group of friends and teammates has kind of hurt my ability to branch out into like new areas or new cultures. Like at Dorp, my freshman year, I didn't really. I mean, I met people that were in my classes, but I never really hung out with people outside of my classes other than my teammates for hockey. And I kind of just did homework, went to class, went to hockey, and played Xbox. And the person I roomed with was from Omaha. He was in that friend group. So this year I've decided to leave my Xbox at home. I don't need it. It's not something I can live without it. And I want to kind of branch out, meet more new people, and get that small town, or not small town, but yeah, small town, small school experience that I came to Dordt for. So yeah, that's my personal wellness plan.